What is going on, and welcome to the channel. I know fantasy sports. It's your boy Walt, and I just want to let you know that I've had a long week, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm going to talk about the top free agent ads, as you can see on the screen right now, and these are players that you might want to look into getting if you have a player that is either not performing or they may be going on a buy that you need to fill in, because some of these players might get you to the championship. But before we get into everything, because I want to just say something here, before we get into everything, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel. I am trying to build a platform here. I will be talking about fantasy basketball pretty soon if you get into it. And trust me, if you don't, check it out because it's pretty fun. If you like watching sports and you like playing fantasy sports, excuse me, I couldn't get it out there. But if you like playing fantasy sports, man, I'm telling you, there's baseball, basketball, football, and even hockey when it comes to fantasy sports. Now, I don't get into the hockey. Not a hockey guy. So I usually do fantasy baseball, football, and basketball. But I'm pretty sure they're going to have a fantasy pickleball, coming up pretty soon. Because if you've ever played pickleball, man, I'm telling you, when I found out about pickleball, I found out about it last year, and my wife and I, we immediately went and grabbed rackets or paddles, whatever you want to call, and those little wiffle balls. And it's so much fun. If you've never played pickleball before, it's the next best thing. But do me a favor and subscribe to the channel because I am trying to build a platform here because I love sports. And if you're watching me right now, you must love sports too. Let's dive into football. And again, watch to the end because there's something that I need to say, and it's very important. So, without further ado, let's talk about the position skills or the skilled positions. Excuse me, I'm back. I'm so backwards. That we want to talk about, and that's your quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end. I mean, as far as defense and kicker, you're going to get what you get because you might have a defense that you think are going to perform well, and guess what? They don't. So, we're going to just dive into the players that I have as the key pet players, the top free agents to pick up for week 9. And I mean, they might not be rostered. They might be on somebody's roster, but you want to look into them for the long run. So let's dig into it with the quarterbacks. And I did this little spreadsheet. Now listen, I'm not like some of those fantasy guys that they have, they have the pictures, they have their stats and all that. I don't have all that because I try to do this on the fly as quick as I can because, of course, I don't have that extra time and I don't have the numbers to be able to make this a career. I'm trying to get there, and with your help, I will. So go ahead and subscribe once again. Let's talk about quarterbacks, and I'm going to breeze through this, but you will see the players that are rostered, and you will see that they may not be in your fantasy team where you can pick them up off of waivers. Some teams you might have to bid for them, and other teams like mine's, you just if whatever waiver wire you come into, if you're 11 out of 12 or if you're 1 out of 12, you might be able to get that player that is not rostered on a team just yet. But I want to talk about quarterbacks, and we're going to just fly through this really quick because as you can see my spreadsheet here, we're just going to fly by it because trust me, I'm pretty sure you can find this anywhere, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only channel that you may watch. You may watch other channels to where they might say some of these same players as well, and you've already picked them up. Bo Nix. Listen, Bo Nix has been playing very well as of late. It feels like he's coming out on his own. And there's a receiver that he's playing very well with also. So he might be a player that you might want to pick up. Now, with Bo, of course, the accuracy is not there. But he's got rushing upside. And so with that being said, when a quarterback has rushing upside, you might want to look into throwing him in the lineup. He's had several good games back to back. So this might be a trend for him. So you might want to look into Bo Nix. But Russell Wilson has been lighting it up since he's become the starter and he's 100% healthy. Look into getting Russell Wilson. Now, he might backslide, but I think he's secured the position as quarterback because Justin Fields, although I think he's a great player, Russell Wilson has the experience and he has the knowledge of the game. This is a player that was a NFL champion, okay? So he has the knowledge. Like I said, he has the knowledge. So he's a really good player, and he's in a great position playing with the Steelers. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua. Now, I know that last week's game wasn't as impressive as we thought, but I honestly believe that Tua will have better games, but I don't know if it's going to be against the Bills. Seems like he always has troubles with the Bills. So looking to get Tua. Joe Flacco is back as the starter. Thank you. Anthony Richardson, I just have to say this. And if you're an Anthony Richardson fan, I know he played at the University of Florida. I live in Florida. I'm not a fan of Florida. I am Louisville Cardinals for life. I like Bama too, so don't hate me on that. But Anthony Richardson needs some time to grow because he's kind of like the Jameis Winston when Jameis came into the league. That's a player that I did not put on here, but you might want to look into getting Jameis as well. Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has stepped it up. He is playing better. However, there are some issues. He's got a lot of injuries on his team. Both his receivers injured. Christian Kirk, he's out for the season. So we have to see what he's going to be able to do. And there might be some players that you might want to pick up that play for the Jags and put them in your lineup because they may be able to perform and produce because they're the only players out there on the field. Everybody's getting hurt these days. Everybody. Besides running backs, which is very odd. It's usually the other way around. It's usually running backs get hurt more than the receivers do. But, it's 2024. It's a different season. Things can happen. Derek Carr is coming back from injury. And as you well know, Derek Carr had some pretty good games before he got hurt. Definitely plug him in the lineup because they need to win. They are really struggling, and they can't beat anybody right now. So Derek Carr might get in there, and he might do some big things. So look and keep in mind of him. Running backs, Bucky Irvin. Yes, I know it's a three-headed monster, but Bucky and, with Bucky, you don't know what you're going to get, but you might get something good because Bucky is, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I know they have Rashad White there as well, but Bucky can catch the ball out of the backfield, and also he's a pretty good runner. He's a better running back than Rashad White is. However, Rashad White is a better receiver, but Bucky can catch the ball. So keep that in mind, and you might want to plug him into your lineup. However, it's going to be a challenging game, this upcoming game on Monday. So, we don't know, but Bucky is somebody to have. He could be a sleeper. Just have him on your roster. If you do have roster room, you might want to add Bucky. He's 68.5% rostered. Tyrone Tracy. This guy is better than Devin Singletary. Now, I don't know what's going on with the Giants, but Tyrone Tracy should be really the number one running back. So you might want to roster him and put him on your lineup, or you might want to just put him on your bench for some time because I believe that he will take over past Devin Singletary. And guess what? They don't have any other running backs either. So that I know of. So, keep that in mind. Raheem Mostert. Let me take a drink real quick. Boom. Okay. Raheem. I know he's been battling with injuries, but if you remember last year, he was lighting it up. He had so many touchdowns last year. And this past week, he had 2 touchdowns. So they might be revving Raheem up to get the goal line carries to save Devin Achane. So keep that in mind. Tyler Algier, he's 49.2% rostered. You might want to look into picking him up, but Bijan Robinson's been killing it. So he's just a cuffer. If Bijan gets hurt, if he needs a breather and a little break because he's been working as the workhorse. Bijan's been doing everything. So you can pick him up, but don't expect very much from him. Ray Davis. Where'd this guy come from? I heard he played at Kentucky. Rivals. Anyways, Ray Davis. This guy, whenever James Cook got hurt, he came in there, and Ray, he's a tough cookie. I have to give it to him. He played his butt off. He wanted to let the coach know that I need more playing time. And I believe that if, James, if he gets hurt or anything like that, which I don't know if it will take place, you never know. But if there is a time where James has to be out for a little bit, Ray Davis is the next guy. next man standing. Let's go to wide receivers. You see this? Please hang on to the end of the channel. But if you don't, it's all good. Demarcus Robinson, he might step up. I actually had him one time and I dropped him, but he's only 12.9% rostered. If you are struggling with the receiver, and I understand that Puka and Cooper has came back into the lineup. However, we don't know if they'll get injured again. Cooper Kupp has a history with injuries. Michael Wilson, besides Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride, what other receivers do they have? What if one of those players get hurt again? Michael Wilson's going to have to step up, and he's only 13.2% rostered. Trey Tucker, since Devontae Adams is going, he's over there with the Jets. Boo. Since he's over with the Jets, I mean, Trey Tucker is the next guy besides Jacoby Myers. I know they have Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers has been lighting it up with his rookie season. But who, if he gets hurt, who else are the quarterbacks going to throw to? So you might want to look into picking up Trey Tucker too. Parker Washington, this is a player that I want to talk about. Parker is pretty much like almost the damn near last receiver on the Jaguars team that's healthy. So that might be a good add. However, I don't know how much he's going to be able to produce because I mean they just really have to rely on Evan Ingram now, but he may be able to get some looks his way. Okay, so keep that in mind. Parker Washington is like the only receiver for the Jaguars. Jalen Coker. Okay, never heard of him. I haven't either. But after doing a little bit of research, and since Deontay Johnson is with the Ravens now, come on now, they're just trying to build their roster up. I mean, this is just taken away from other players like Mark Andrews. But anyways, or Zay Flowers. Just keep in mind to take a look at him. I don't know if the red rifle is going to be back because I heard about this car accident he had. And I mean, you got to be careful when you're a player. NFL player making millions of dollars. Give me some of that money. This might be the next player up. You know, I know that they have Xavier Leggett or Xavier Leggett, however you say his name. So this is the next guy. Adam Thielen, he's still on IR, and he's like 1,000 years old. So Jalen Coker is the next man up on that. He's only 2.2% roster. Troy Franklin. Bo Nix loves to throw to Troy Franklin. When I watched the game several weeks ago when they were going against the Saints, it seemed like he was throwing the ball his way every time. And Cortland Sutton was just sitting there on the island by himself thinking, when am I going to get the ball thrown to me to get some action? Look into Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin is going to be that player that I think kind of reminds me of when Kirk Cousins was throwing to Justin Jefferson all the time. So keep that in mind. He's only 2% roster. If you need him, pick him up. Let's go to tight ends. This is the last thing here, and then I want you to hang tight with me because I got to say something. Tucker Kraft, of course, we need to pick him up. Hunter Henry, I don't know. Jacoby Brissett is coming back. Taysom Hill, coming off an injury. Listen, Taysom Hill, he's a sleeper because they might hand it off to him or they might throw it to him or he might throw a pass. Taysom Hill is the type of player that at one time they had him at quarterback, receiver, and tight end all in once. I'm like, come on now. But he can do one of those three things. So keep that in mind with Taysom Hill. And Taysom Hill is either boom or bust. Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith has been stepping it up. And I've always liked Jonnu. I felt like Jonnu was really catching a hard break, especially when he was the Titans, because he was very good. And then when he went to Atlanta, he did really good in Atlanta as well. And guess what? He's with Miami now. Hey, he's in Florida. Welcome to Florida, Jonnu. But keep in mind, Jonnu Smith is the only tight end that I can rely on for the Miami Dolphins. And he might be a Tua Tagovailoa target. I can't even – man, Tua Tagovailoa. Tagovailoa. There we go. So Jonnu might be the next guy. Brandon Strange. Now, Jacksonville Jaguar player. When Evan Ingram went down, Brandon Strange was like the Evan Ingram light. And you might want to pick him up because they don't have any receivers, so they might start working with two tight ends. Evan Ingram, as you can tell, he can play in the slot. So they might use Brandon Strange as the tight end and Evan Ingram as the slot, using the two tight end formation. I'm just thinking I have some kind of vision on that. So keep that in mind too. You might want to pick him up. Will Dissly. Now, I remember when Will Dissly was playing for the Seattle Seahawks. And I was like, this guy he's pretty talented. And he is. So He's still with the good quarterback with Justin Herbert. You might want to look into picking him up just in case because they don't have a tight end anymore. They do not have a tight end. I mean, I remember when they had Gerald Everett, and Gerald Everett was like kind of the guy that will get you at least 8 to 9, 10 points that could take you over the top. So, these are the players that I have here in regards to, they're on the waivers. You might be able to pick them up, put them in your lineup, especially if you have a player that's not performing. But the thing that I wanted to talk about, and I appreciate you hanging tight with me, is I posted a YouTube short about Devontae Adams that I was very wrong on. I said to bench him. And then I see that he has 9 catches or 7 catches for 97 yards and a touchdown. And I have him on my team. So I'm taking the blunt of the blow as well. But Devontae, I said to bench him, and I was completely wrong. I missed on that one. I've been pretty right about a lot of things lately, but that one I missed on. I wasn't expecting Aaron Rodgers to throw 3 touchdowns, 2 of them going to Garrett Wilson, and 1 going to Devontae. But again, you never know what you're going to get with Devontae. Maybe he's starting to get a groove with the team, and he's learning the offense and everything. But I just didn't expect for him to actually perform like he did, and he did. So it is what it is. But listen, I am done. I'm not going to hold you. I appreciate you hanging tight with me. Please, I'm begging you. I'm trying to build my platform so I can go live. I love sports. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you. God bless you. And catch you next time. Peace.